Beats Planet.
Y'all hear it? We got my brother Voch Lombardi in the building, reporting live from Oxnard training camp. Cowboys opened up their first padded practice yesterday, and I said, "Yo, let me get my brother back in the building, but let's talk face to face because there was a lot going on." So, ladies and gentlemen, please drop the fire in the chat. My bro Voch, what's up, bro?
Finally, Voch has come back to Oxnard. Not Oxnard. Oxnard.
Oxnard.
What's good with you, bro? Hey man, listen, we just putting the work in.
Yes.
I tell Foots, nobody's allowed to tap on me on the shoulder and be like, hey man, can you get up at 6 a.m, come do some work? Can't nobody do that but you and Foots the King. And depending on what this Crown Global Media budget look like for Brian, bro, because that could be some money where I wake up at 5 and run my ass to the studio and do it. But besides y'all three, can't nobody make me get up and do no work at 6 a.m, bro.
The right bag will make your ass get up at any time.
I'm up, man. What you need? I'm up.
Trust and believe me, brother. Trust and believe me. But speaking of which, we're going to get into somebody that got the bag the other day out there at Oxnard, California. First padded practice, a lot of things we want to get to, man. And the reason why I want to bring Voch in, because like I said before, he is keying in on things differently than I believe others are. So you know how we do here. We like to bring context. We like to dive into the nitty gritty. So let's do it. Speaking of the bag, Jake Ferguson, Freaky Ferguson, what they call him. I mean, they used to call him. Now I don't know if they still do. No diddy.
Big Money Ferg is what they call him.
Big Money Ferg now. He got the bag, man. 4 years, $52 million, $30 million guaranteed, and a $12 million signing bonus. We were talking about this behind the scenes via text when it happened. We were surprised. You know, I said pleasantly surprised because I'm a big Ferguson fan. I believe in him. I'm with Coach Shoddy that last year was an anomaly. It was a fluke. And I think now with Dak Prescott back healthy, him healthy, and with George Pickens out there, Ferg could be in for a big year. But kind of your general thoughts on him getting that deal.
I tell you what, man. First of all, if you go back to the press conference a couple of weeks ago, Jerry and Steven was up there just kind of kicking it, making us mad or whatever. And when Jerry mentioned, hey man, you know, we pay some of these guys. Sometimes we pay them early. Maybe we shouldn't have paid them early, right? You know, just that miscellaneous thing that sounded like a shot at Trey Diggs, that sounded like a shot at Terrence Steele. Like, you know, just saying maybe we should make sure that we're a little more, you know, secure with who these guys are before we pay big money to them. So in my mind, what that meant was the super elites gonna get their money, and you know, we all know that there's a short list of guys that could possibly get money this year, and I don't think Tyler Smith is gonna be like a doubt for us. You know what I mean? I don't think like there's just certain names that we just know for sure. Like Micah's getting his money. It sounds weird right now, and the media is messing around with it, and we're kind of mad that he's not gonna be getting training camp reps or whatnot, but he's going to get his money. But then there's the guys that are the question marks, the maybes. Like, we don't know for sure if Deron Bland is going to get money. So we're just figuring this out on the go. Jake Ferguson is a guy that I wouldn't consider him elite, but he's a really good tight end when Ford is throwing him the football. You understand what I'm saying? If he was a type of guy like, you know, Travis Kelce or something like that, then this wouldn't be a conversation to where he's a guy that could elevate Cooper Rush or something like that. I think Ferg is going to kind of live and die by Ford. And we saw that last year. Jay got hurt a little bit last year, but those numbers particularly kind of went away when Ford wasn't involved. So I thought that I thought he was one of those question mark guys, but Jake got his money first. And, you know, according to the people that crunch numbers, it's a good deal for the Cowboys, and of course it's a good deal for Jake. It's a big 13 for Jake. But if you just take away whether you thought he was going to get paid or not, and just talk about what this means for the Cowboys, it means that they're kind of walking him in step with Dak. You know what I mean? Like, Dak's contract is a certain length, Shoddy's contract is a certain length. I think Jake's got like 1 year that kind of overlaps with that or whatever, but they're all tied at the hip now. So these next few years, while we're trying to figure out if Dak is gonna take us to the promised land. I mean, his favorite tight end on the roster right now is definitely going to be with him. So whether you draft a guy that's going to play wide receiver for you, whether tight end 2 is a rotating door, no matter what your running back situation is going to look like, whether you re-sign GP or not, you at least know that CD Lamb and Ferg is going to be a part of that equation somehow.
Yeah, talking to 2i about what you just said, your continuity at the position. It seems like maybe they didn't want to go down that line of, okay, bringing another tight end, have to develop more or find the chemistry. They have that chemistry, and when he's on the field and healthy and Dak is on the field, it is a pretty damn good tight end quarterback duo, and you can't deny it. Now, last year there were issues, and again, beyond Ferguson and his injuries, there were issues in his involvement and how to utilize him. No touchdowns at all, but zero, touchdowns in the red zone. Only 5 targets in the red zone. Period. So they'll have to go back to 23. And if you listen to Shad, he talked about, we're going to get the 23 version of Ferg because that's how we're going to use him. So that's why I'm confident in him. And I am not all up in arms of the deal. I get a lot of people are, because I think when you strip down the deal and you remove Ferguson and all that stuff and you bring in the drama, that's where people are having an issue with it. And I kind of ignore that aspect of it because, again, at the end of the day, I do think, like you said, Micah is going to happen. Tyler is going to happen. What does this mean for the team moving forward? And to have 4 and 87 together over the next 3 or 4 seasons is huge, because that is a position you don't have to worry about. So guess what? No more taking Luke Schoonmakers in the second round for at least 3 more years.
This feels like a relative win now move, doesn't it? Will Still, like a not win now, but win over the next 2 or 3 years. If I'm thinking the Cowboys are going to dole out money for a long period of time, we always think about that money 5. I don't want to say offensive tackle right now. Let's just say offensive line, wide receiver, corner, quarterback, right? Like those are in pass rushes. Like that's like your money 5 that you build the core of your team around, right? Yeah. This Jake Ferguson signing feels like, hey man, Dak is in the driver's seat. Let's just kind of get him what he needs so that we can kind of figure this thing out, and I can only imagine next year in the draft, I'd imagine that these win now type of draft picks are probably going to be in the equation. Like running backs might be in the equation or something like that. That's way, way, way down there. But this just feels like, all right, the guys that are available to get money, a lot of them are like money 5 guys. Like Sam Williams is a money 5 guy. We don't know if he's gonna get his money or not, but he's a pass rusher. You know what I mean? Like we have GP, who's a wide receiver. We got Deron Bland, who's a corner. Yeah. So like position value wise, and I don't really subscribe to that too much, but maybe they do. So like position value wise, like there are other guys that you could have gave that money to, but they gave it to the tight end. So this feels like a keep that comfortable win now kind of thing to me.
That's a good segue, because let me say this, because I don't believe paying Jake Ferguson hampers you from paying anybody else you want and how many of those players you want. And I think that is kind of the split here, where people say, and look, I agree. Would I have prioritized Micah and GP and those guys first? Sure. And who's to say? I mean, clearly they're prioritizing. When I say prioritizing, they want to prioritize Micah. They've been negotiating for months. That has not happened yet. But that doesn't mean just because you didn't pay Micah, you don't pay anybody else, right? Like as that is getting handled, you still have others that need to get the bag. Look, we can all disagree about how they're going about it. I mean, I do. I mean, a lot of the back and forth in the media is what they usually do, and it's trash, but it is what it is. That doesn't mean you don't pay other guys, and don't let for a second think Jake Ferguson's deal doesn't allow you to sign who they want. They want to keep Tyler. They're going to keep Tyler. They're going to keep Micah Parsons. Where the other players, for me, I'm with you. I heard you talk about it the other day. Deron, I'm not sure if they're going to go there. We'll see with who's the other player? Sam Williams. I don't really think
Brandon Aubrey too.
Brandon. I would sign Brandon Aubrey. I don't think Brandon Aubrey should hamper you either. That dude's a weapon right now. But kickers can, all it takes is one bad game. Right.
Yeah.
But so I just don't think this deal hampers you from signing anybody else, Voch.
GP right now. Call his people right now.
Immediately. I did that when they traded for him. Staying in that tight end room real quick. Reverspan Ford has been balling since they got there to Oxnard, and he got dinged up the other day. I think it was a hamstring. Early reports seem to be, that it's okay, it's not serious, but it does put a dampen on his momentum. He was you said this, I believe, when we talked the other day. He seemed to be taking a stranglehold of the tight end 2 position, which is not necessarily a knock on the room, because it seems like that room has had a solid start. And if you remember the last few years, we was looking at that tight end room like, hey man, y'all got to pick it up.
Yeah, it's not what you are good at, it's what you were bad at. You know what I'm saying? It's what you were bad at, working on your deficiencies. And maybe I'll ask a coach this. I'll ask Lunda or Shotty, but when we're going through the off-season program and we're changing things, we're changing bodies, we're working on stuff. How do you picture these tight ends, and how do you balance what you ask them to work on? For example, if you're Brevin Span 4, a lot of his allure is being 270 pounds. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But he does need to improve as a receiver. Do you make him lose weight? Do you ask him to lose weight to kind of move a little better, or do you just kind of work on his hands? Schoonmaker in particular lost some weight. You know what I'm saying?
He moves well.
He's visibly moving much better, but Schoonmaker made his money as a blocking kind of guy. Like, you know what I mean? So, like, does he lose that in the process or whatever? And he looked pretty decent doing it. But and look, let me just be clear. Schoonmaker ain't got a claim to fame since he been here. I'm talking about Michigan shit. He ain't got a thing that he's good at since he been here. So maybe, do what you need to do. But Brevin Span Ford's biggest deficiency, his biggest what you were bad at was, the receiving side, was catching the football. And that's a multiple aspect thing, not just catching, but like how you run routes, how you get open, how you move, limiting drops. Brevin has an incredible catch radius, but he wasn't able to use it because his hands weren't all that secure. Boy, you see Brevin Span 4 whipping his neck, getting open, whipping his hand back and forth to get open wheel still. You see him toe tapping on the sideline. And I think that last highlight that came out the day before, him in the back of the end zone, jumping over a couple of bodies and tapping his feet in the back of it, that made people start rubbing their hands together like Birdman, because that's how we envision him. That's how we envision tight end. This crowd of Cowboy fans that was trying to get Rico Gathers up in here and say that Jason Witten wasn't all that good. That's what they have been envisioning this whole time, right? A guy that can go up and get it and come down in the back of the end zone. And particularly for Luke Schoonmaker, let me say this: like, he's not doing terribly. Schoonmaker's doing better than what he was. Brevin Span 4 is just flying.
Yeah.
So me and you have these conversations all the time, and there's this one adage that we always go to, these loud camps. You know what I'm saying? These loud camps. Luke Schoonmaker isn't having a quiet camp. He's having some loud whispers, but Brevin Span 4 is screaming.
Yeah.
He's banging trash cans. He's making noise. He turned that music down. So Brevin Span 4 is good to see him kind of get up and walk around and move around. He'll be good to go by the time the regular season gets here, however they choose to move forward with him. But he seems to be tight end too right now. Man,
I came into OTAs back when I was talking to 2i. I felt really good about this room. I did see some improvements from Schoonmaker last year. I was big on Brevin Span 4 in general, even if he was just tight end 3. And then obviously Ferg is Ferg. One thing I noticed with Clayton Adams, he's going to use all 3 of these tight ends, like in regards to 12 personnel package, 13 personnel package, whether that be to run out of it or play action or what have you. So you're going to need all 3 of these dudes, hoping BSF gets back out there because they're going to have to develop this chemistry throughout the season so that the Cowboys can be multiple like Shotty wants to be.
Oh yeah, for sure. And listen, man, this is why I just keep going back to how positive I can feel about this new offensive administration or whatnot, right? We can say, well, Shotty hasn't been a head coach before, but he's called plays before. He's done this thing before. But sometimes it's just about how good of a dirty Mac can you be, and how much better can you be than Mike McCarthy, right? And Mike got all the skins on the wall that you could ask for, but if you're stuck in your own way, that doesn't mean anything to us. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Shotty seems like he's adopting a lot of this new stuff, a lot of these new ideas. If the Lions whoop our ass with the extra offensive lineman in there moving and blocking him around, they put Dan Skipper in motion and all this kind of stuff, and they whoop us up front, then cool. Awesome Richard seems to be that Dan Skipper kind of guy, you know what I mean? So what it at least means to me is Schottenheimer is stealing shit, and we can't ask for more.
Have you fallen and gotten injured at work? You should probably call a lawyer.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan.
Morgan & 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 Morgan.
Did you know that your injury could be worth millions of dollars? Morgan & Morgan is the largest injury law firm in America, and they've recovered over $25 billion for their clients.
$25 billion? That's a hell of a lot of money.
If the insurance companies tried to lowball you, Morgan & Morgan is able to take the pain and suffering and turn it into cold, hard cash. But wait. How much is Morgan & Morgan going to cost you? You never owe them legal fees unless they're successful.
That's right. You don't owe unless you win.
And if you don't know how to hire a lawyer and it sounds too hard, it's actually super easy. You can just go to their website, and then in a couple clicks, you can find out if you have a case. You can literally do it from your smartphone. And remember, there's only one Morgan & Morgan.
Wait, there's more than one because... Let me see the script. Oh, last name. Oh, okay, roll it.
You can start your claim today by going to forthepeople.com/Skywalker. The link in the description. Hey, let's stay right there with the offensive line, man. We got some bad news. This morning I hit you up. Robert Jones, the Miami offensive guard, they signed 1-year deal. To me, it was more of a backup situation. I didn't even know if he'd make the team. But then Robert Jones started to show something. And we were talking how, you believed him and Hakeem Adeniji were looking like quality veteran guys to have here. But Robert Jones broke a bone in his neck yesterday at camp, and he'll be out 2 to 3 months. So he won't be a part of this depth anytime soon. Kind of just your thoughts on that right there, and the depth in general and what you're seeing from Hakeem, because you said you really like him.
So as far as Robert Jones go, I ain't see the play where he broke his neck. So apparently he just like toughed it out. Apparently he just walked off the practice field and said, "Hey, my neck hurt." And they kind of looked at it later on, and we got the news early this morning. So they probably definitely did run tests after practice or whatever. But what I was saying from Robert Jones was like a guy that's like veteran, like, that when we talk about some of the depth guys on this team in the past or whatever, right? Like it always feels like it's just some rookie that we want to be better, or some young player that we want to be better. For example, like TJ Bass was like an idea of a young depth piece for us, which is fine. Or like with Let's Go and Josh Ball, we were always looking at them as like they were like depth guys for us. Well, Rob Jones, and I asked Duke Manyweather about this, and he retweeted one of my tweets. Rob Jones can start for a team.
He did
right now
in Miami.
He did for sure. Miami. Hakeem Adeniji can start for a team right now. You know what I'm saying? And that just kind of lets you know where the offensive line is around the league. It ain't just a whole bunch of 5-for-5 elite offensive lines running around. There are some guys that can, start around here. So when I see these guys, it's like depth guys. And also when we see Tyler Booker maybe make some mistakes in practice and Rob Jones comes in with the first team, I'm telling people, hey, you can panic all you want to. At the end of the day, Booker's a rookie. And at the end of the day, Robert Jones is a starter in this league. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't nothing to panic about, because Book went right back out there with an attitude and beat the hell out of everybody yesterday. But I feel like this Robert Jones thing is definitely like a huge blow to us, because at the end of the day, Booker's a rookie, and if anything were to go wrong rookie wise, you got a backup plan as a veteran guy. Same thing with Terrence. Like, you have a quality veteran dude behind him. You know what I'm saying? But we're just gonna have to roll with what we have right now. And they say Robert Jones will be back around like November or something. So that's a positive sign. Because sometimes when you break your neck, that's like all season you out, or you can't do football ever again no more. So it must have been like a small break or something like that. But Rob Jones was definitely impressive when I saw him.
To your point on Rob Jones getting the first team reps, what I like about that is it doesn't feel like back in the Solari McCarthy days, or I forget who the other one was, Philbin days, where it's like, hey man, you just took this Tyler Guyton kid or Tyler Smith kid in the first round, and you got him playing with the threes just because rookies got to learn. This was more competition. Coach Shoddy said Robert Jones earned those first team reps. And,
sure.
and I believe Booker hit a little bit of a rookie wall, if you will, trying to figure things out. He said something about how it's like fist fighting and learning algebra getting into the NFL. So you know what Coach did? You aren't playing better at this moment or this last week than Rob. Rob, go in there and get the first team. This is competition. this isn't one of those situations where, well, Rook, you got to go carry all the pads to get to first team. So I do like that from Coach Shoddy.
Yeah, he is standing on business, and I was critical of the whole Tyler Guyton, Cooper BB run with the threes thing. Like that kind of made me sick or whatever. But Robert Jones can't play, and Robert Jones can't start. Like if you had to roll Robert Jones out there for the Eagles, I mean, you'd feel decent about it. You wouldn't feel amazing, but you'll at least feel decent
Hey,
about
you
it.
got film that he played against them, so
You know what I'm saying? He's good to go there. But in terms of book, sometimes it's the mentals as well. Physically he could do everything you want him to do, but it like he said, it does happens. It happens fast in there. You know what I mean? So he just wasn't picking that up as fast. Rob Jones was the guy that's probably seen that 100 times, and you know what I mean. That's just where his fastball was just a little bit sharper. But like you said, shots out to Shoddy. Shoddy had to find one example to stand on his business. You know what I'm saying? For example, if you Jimmy Johnson and Michael Irvin getting all the trouble, and Emmett getting all the trouble, all your superstars getting all the trouble, but you're constantly preaching, hey man, I'll reprimand y'all if y'all bullshitting, and he cussed the undrafted dude or whatever. Like, you had to stand 10 toes down somewhere, and that was Jimmy's. I think this is Shoddy's 10 toes down. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey y'all, that's a first round pick right there. Ain't nothing guaranteed. And look, Rob Jones can play. So y'all need to get on your business, you know what I'm saying? And I'm sure that this counts for veterans as well, So if you Miles Sanders, Jaydon Blue on your ass. Mind you, Jaydon Blue the first couple of days we didn't see much of him, but Deuce Vaughn is out with a hamstring. You know what I'm saying?
Can't get hurt when it's a competition camp.
And Jaydon Blue went in there zooming all over the damn field. You know what I'm saying? So whoever's sitting behind you, they on their way. They coming.
Hey, we can stay there real quick, and I'm gonna come back to your guy, but I want to stay on Jaydon Blue because coming in, we were among the group of people who believe Jaydon Blue, his skill set is very useful, and he could be a part of this rotation or have a role, whether it be RB2, whether it be scat back, whether it be third down back, whatever you want to call it. Jaydon Blue should have a role in this offense. Then, those reports come out. Everybody's all, filling Miles Sanders and Javonte Williams. And look, that's not a knock on them. I'm not saying that. But at the end of the day, I said this before, nobody in that room outside of Jaydon Blue, I think, has an elite skill set. And that elite skill set for Jaydon Blue, for me, was, well, two of them really, speed and the ability to catch the rock out the backfield. Seems like he's showing off both of those things over the last few days, in pads and out of pads, Voch.
Jaydon Blue definitely has an elite skill set. The other guys handle the details a little better than him.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? And that's where it comes to you being a young guy. Like, the Cowboys are running a lot of screens, Will, still. Get ready for that, too. Like, I know I'm watching offensive line, and I haven't tweeted about it. But, sometimes I'll watch in passing, and I'll go, oh, well, they're running a screen. But I didn't record it because I'm just watching something else. We're running a lot of screens, and sometimes it's small things like the depth of the screen. Like if Jaydon runs it, you're a little too deep there. Maybe you should be closer to the line of scrimmage. Javonte has that already because he's been in the league. And, Javonte may not be as electric as Jaydon Blue, but to his core, he is a pass catching back to some extent. He's not the kind of guy that Jaydon is, but you can trust him in a pass catching situation. The same with Deuce Vaughn, the same with Turpin. You see what I'm saying? Here's another note. I don't even know if I said it on your last episode, but I'm gonna say it again just in case. They're putting a lot of emphasis in breaking the huddle, where to line up and alignment and things like that. They're running different tempos at the huddle. They're moving different, places or whatever. And it's incredibly important that you line up in the right place because we're trying to limit penalties, right? So if you're Jaydon Blue and your job is to, even if your job is to stand right there, but you got to be off the line of scrimmage. You can't be on the line of scrimmage because when these other guys shift, they're going to be the on guy, and you don't want the offensive penalty for, procedure or, double motion, whatever it may be. You need to know the details of your situation. Or when we break the huddle and you got to think fast, okay, cool, I got to run to the Y spot, right? And if your job is to shift to the right and then motion back to the left, you got to start in the right place because it's two other offensive functions of that play that you have to operate before you even snap the football, right? So Deuce Vaughn, who's kind of been in this, he's been around Shoddy, kind of maybe he knows the language a little bit more. He could just boom run right to that place. Williams being in the league more. Oh, well, we call this something else in Denver. I got you. I know exactly what that is. Boom, you can go right to that. Jaydon Blue coming fresh out of Texas. They plays don't even have words, Will still. They just hold up note cards and that's hold up pictures, and that's how they get their plays or maybe hand signals, right? So when we're saying gun right trips bunch, A motion Z fly, he don't know what A and Z is. He don't know what side of the feet. He may not know, or at least when he was in Texas, he's learning what A means. He's learning what Z means. He's learning what Y means. When they start saying miscellaneous numbers that mean routes, he's learning what a 5 and a 7 and a 6 is, not just what Twitter emoji means. Oh, what Twitter emoji means, I run a post after whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that I don't want to be doom and gloom or like I don't want to be an alarmist.
Has he shown? Because you started off very high on Jaydon Blue. Has he shown improvement in that, or sounds like is that a concern? I'm trying to figure out where you're at with
compliment
that.
Sandwich. Compliment sandwich.
Gotcha.
Watch this. Jaydon will be just fine by the time we get to week 1. But
so he's growing in that in a sense.
In order to win these coaches' trust, you got to have the details. Same with Tyler Booker. He's more talented than Rob Jones right now. But Rob Jones, he's seen stunts before. I've seen that stunt in the league before. Booker hasn't. The same with Jaydon Blue. Once Jaydon Blue gets on the field and he got all the details, Scott, he's not going nowhere because he's the most electric running back you got. He's the most electric running back you got, but you got to be able to trust him, especially when Shotty is preaching, hey, man, we're going to be better with penalties this year. The Cowboys were the most penalized team last year. We got to be better. They got to be able to trust you to be able to live up to that.
How do you feel about his last 2 days? Were they just those pop plays that we've seen with the clips, or have you seen, like I said, growth over these last 2 days, getting more reps with Deuce Vaughn out?
Oh, Jaydon been going crazy these last couple of days, Scott. And it kind of all started with this big highlight catch that he had over on the right sideline there. I believe Joe Milton was the quarterback, and I'm assuming that Joe was the quarterback because it was an overthrow. Joe be throwing that bitch everywhere. But him kind of Jaydon being able to kind of go up, elevate, and catch it shows where we are in this passing game. I'll give you another tidbit, Scott. Sometimes when the offense is running like certain kind of plays, they'll run the same play but with different personnel groups. So we've been looking for that running back in the backfield, motion out to the wide receiver, take a linebacker with us if you in man coverage type of deal or whatever. When Javonte does it, I don't feel any kind of fear in my heart. You know what I'm saying? Turpin is out there doing it. You could tell how the defense reacts to Turpin move. They fly when Turpin moves. Jaydon Blue, when he moves, the defense flies because they know how he gets down, right? So in terms of he's allowed to do more of those plays. Let me say that, because back in the gap, which is 5 days ago, he was with the Will Greer group. And when y'all watching highlights, y'all don't see Will Greer a bunch. Y'all don't see Phil Maffa a bunch. Y'all don't see TJ Bass a bunch because they were the third group. We're going to give the first 2 teams the most reps. And the third group, you may get 4 or 5 plays here or there. I started seeing a lot of Jaydon Blue in those situations. Not just, all right, throw the third team out there while y'all getting water. Hey, Jaydon, come line up right there. Hey, put blue, put 34 in there, put 34 here, put 34 there. So he's getting more and more involved, and the more he's involved, in which I think this is going to be better for him, Scott, because he has a better blocking group in front of him. You know what I'm saying? So instead of like TJ Bass blocking for you, and TJ's is doing fine.
I know,
but now you have the second group blocking for you, and maybe in a couple of weeks in camp, he'll have the first team blocking for him, and he'll have an opportunity to get even more plays. But he's definitely showing more and more the more chances he gets.
There was a formation or play, I've seen it maybe a few times, you can speak on it more than I can, where a lot of us were kind of like, man, it'd be cool if we could see Cavante Turpin out there with Jaydon Blue and George Pickens or CeeDee Lamb or whatever. There was this play I saw, Cavante Turpin doing a ghost motion. I mean, he's hauling ass, right, at the snap. But then Jaydon Blue's going the opposite side. So they kind of fake this way to Terp, and they go back to Blue with some, elephants on parade. And I'm like, ooh, if that's going to be in this package, that's dangerous. Because like you said, it's different if it's Javonte Williams doing that as opposed to Terp going this way, Blue going that way. Where do you go?
In the first few days, they didn't even let Jaydon run that play. It was Javonte. It was Javonte running, and I haven't seen Miles catching the ball a whole bunch, but it was Turpin, it was Javonte. Hunter Lipkitt go out there do it a little bit because he is a catcher of some sorts. But the more opportunities you see Jaydon Blue go out there, the more you're gonna see him. He just didn't get those opportunities at first. Now he's gonna get them. But yeah, I mean, I can't wait to see that in regular season. Like those are your two zoomers on the field at the same time. And then the good thing about them, and they're probably going to be doing this soon. I can only imagine they're going to be doing this soon. Moving those dudes to the wide receiver from that set, from that two back set, split set, motion one of those guys out and it turns into a 4 receiver set. You could do that with either one of them. You could do that with Turpin or Jaydon Blue. So that'll be fun when they do it. Mike McCarthy would never do no shit like that.
No, at all. Run down the field, turn around, right?
Turn around, my bro. clap. I'm open and get tackled.
I'm so happy that we ain't got that offense no more, man. I'm sorry. Hey, Foots, I love you, but boy, me and Foots was fighting for 2 years. He kept trying to tell me. I said, I don't know what you watching, bro. I love Foots to death, though. He finally's like, yeah, man, yeah, that ain't the offense, bro. Hey,
tons of shifts, tons of motions, tons of movement, tons of redirecting. We different, my boy. Go ahead.
First time I met Voch, y'all, years ago. First moved down to Texas, and I was like, damn, you a lot taller than I thought, bro. And, you know, I'm short king, you know, I'm shorter than everybody, you know. But I'm like, that's a big mama. Yeah. Voch sent me a picture the other day, and I couldn't help but laugh a little bit because I'm like, Voch to me is what Tyler Guyton is to Voch. So he sends me this picture of him and Tyler Guyton talking. Now, look, I knew Tyler Guyton was 6'7", 6'8", legitimate. But seeing him stand next to you, Voch, I'm sitting here like, God damn. Now you know how I feel to be a short king next to a 6'7".
I don't like it.
6
I don't like it. I hate it.
Hey, there was a picture I took, or you took, I can't remember what it was when we was out at camp a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And you were behind me.
It was you and Dak. It
No. It was okay. You was filming on my damn head or something. Like you was behind me filming, and I was taking a picture of something, and I think it was one of those dual camera shots. I'm like, hey dog, my head ain't no damn tripod. Look at that damn camera. But that's how short I am compared to Voch. And so you sent me that picture, and I couldn't help but laugh a little bit. But in all seriousness, you were talking about how you were having legitimate conversations with TG, and it was kind of cool just to see you do that, because you offensive line guy. I tell you, you were number one offensive line guy in this community, and you've been talking to I believe it was Duke Manyweather about TG, and you've been on the improvements of Tyler Guyton. Kind of walk us through his first padded practice, because I thought you did a great job at covering it. Him going up against a variety of rushers.
Two things. One, I am a large regular human. I am an offensive lineman by trade, you know what I mean? But I tell people all the time when they be like, Voch, why didn't you play ball at the next level? I was like, I'm too small. And they were like, what you mean? You bigger than everybody at the school. What you mean that you too small? It's just another level. It just is what it is. But shots like TG damn near a foot taller than me. Damn near. Like I'm 6
crazy.
foot. I'm 6 foot, but in my Jordans, I was 6'1". He's damn near a foot taller than me. But anyway, let me give you credit before I get going. One thing that I always kind of take from you is when you get more information, and you don't say it like this, but when you get more information, you have to change your stance. You have to change where what you thought. Change your mind, because you got new information. You can't grow if you keep saying the same shit and you got new information. You know what I'm saying? So I was very critical of Tyler Guyton, not because I hated Tyler Guyton, not because he, smashing somebody I knew or nothing like that. Like not because I'm a Texas fan. I hate Oklahoma. I didn't know Tyler Guyton. You know what I'm saying? I just wasn't in this place to where I wanted to develop a player that far. You know what I'm saying? Like if you got some regular development, some big Tyler development, some Cooper Beebe development, I can develop while you good right now. Tyler Guyton was an 8 game starter altogether at Oklahoma on the right side and got drafted here to play left tackle. So of course I had my issues with that. And just listen to how he was talking in his presser as a rookie and all that. I felt like, all right, cool, whatever, man. And the season ended up being what I thought it was going to be. But this presser this year, Sky, when he was at the locker room availability, he had a different look in his eyes. He had a different tone to his voice. He had a different focus. I asked Duke Manyweather the other day. I say, man, Duke, I talked to TG, man. He just seems a lot more focused. He just seemed focused. He said, he was basically like, yeah, man, me and TG been doing a lot of work. I set some things up for him to kind of show some of the things that he was good at, and it kind of did wonders for his own confidence. And now if you just fix these little whatevers, you'll be much better, right? And I think Tyler Guyton took that conversation with Duke, took that work with Duke. Him and Duke not beefing, by the way, but he took that work with Duke and he took it seriously, Sky.
Yeah.
And some people think that working with Duke is enough. Like, this is the National Football League. This is the best of the best. So you have to go to practice, work with Duke. He didn't have a chance to work with Solari because Solari was trying to do some. He's 90 years old. He wasn't working with nobody. But you got to do yoga. You got to pick up boxing. You got to stretch. You got to do stuff in your garage. You got to get. You got to lift weights on the side. You got to stop eating Raising Cane's. And this ain't just me being funny. This is what Tyler Guyton has said. Mm-hmm. You can mention him talking about trying to eat better. You can mention him talking about flexibility and all these kind of things. You can see videos of him boxing in the rain and shit. And then it's on .com right now. We actually interviewed him. He talked about, the boxing in the rain shit, working on his hand-eyes, and all that. But Tyler just looks different. He looked more focused. He looked like, hey, man, I understand. Like, this was a game last year. This was just fun last year. I was happy to be here last year. But I think he really felt the pressure of letting people down. I think he felt a weight of letting people down. And when you listen to that press conference of him from a couple of months ago, you heard him say, like, man, I just want to be good for everybody else. I want to elevate. I don't want to I don't want to be the reason why this thing doesn't work. You know what I'm saying? So watching him in practice, the pads were not on, but I was still giving Tyler Guyton praise because some of the things that he was bad at, you could see whether the pads were on or not.
Right.
Shooting your hands individually, not catching, bending at the knees, not bending at the waist. Just different things like that. Punching in various spots. Recovery. There was this one play, and I wanted Twitter to be excited like I was excited because I'm an offensive line guy. And and in some of those clips, you can hear me audibly giggle a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Tyler Guyton had this one rep versus Marshawn Nealon. And Marshawn Nealon is more of a power rusher. That's a good thing about our guys, too. We got different types of rushers. Marshawn ain't like Sam. Sam ain't like Donovan. But Marshawn Nealon ended up getting in Tyler Guyton's chest. What Guyton would have done last year, Scott, those hands will get wide and they'll end up on Nealon's back, and Nealon would take Guyton to the quarterback. That's what would happen. Mother effing Tyler Guyton bent his knees, popped his hips, boom, got low, and worked his hands inside and made his elbows tight. And then he re-anchored and he stunned Marshawn Nealon. And I'm like, do y'all Negans see what's going on here? Y'all ninjas don't even see what's going on here. You know what I'm saying? And I was trying to convey my excitement. It's Twitter. You know what I'm saying? So I gotta, you know what I mean? But that's a large jump, Skywalker Steel.
Yeah.
That's a large jump. Like, some guys can learn that in 1 year. Like, for example, Book can learn that fast, but Book has been in heavyweight SEC fights for 3 years.
And that's
Book
his
got
game.
That's his game. Book got 40-something games of Tavondre Sweat, Byron Murphy, Jalen Carter, guys like, you know what I'm saying, Jordan Davis this year recently. He's, he's got bodies under his belt. Booker.
Yeah.
Tyler Guyton didn't have none of that experience. So from him going to 0 to rookie year to swimming and shit, that's a large leap, Will Steele.
And I think
that's a large leap.
With the pads coming on, that's kind of what I was looking forward to seeing a little bit, is when these power rushers try to run through his chest, is he re-anchoring? Is he getting that knee bend? Where are the hands at? Because we talked about this last year when he was drafted. Hey, when it comes to the feet, fantastic. And you saw that in a lot of those clips. I almost hit you up as yesterday as I was watching. I'm like, hey, I know you didn't edit a clip, but I'm like, this looks edited because of how quick he can get from one spot to the next landmark with his, it's unbelievable. So,
he's always been the best athlete in the offensive line room.
Right.
He's always been the best athlete in the offensive line room. It's the offensive line stuff. It was a play yesterday. It was probably versus Sam or something like that. It was one of the last ones that I put out, and he fired his ass off the line of
I
scrimmage.
think that's the one I'm talking about. I thought it was edited, bro. I almost slowed it down. I was like, yo, did your camera glitch? I'll show y'all at some point. It looks like he glitched. So it's like, look, I know that's there. But what happens when Nealon tries to run through his chest? What happens when Sam tries to run through his chest? What happens when Izraku, who, yes, he's getting wins on him, dips and gets below his 6'7" frame. How is he recovering? What's up with the bend? Because sometimes he, gets up, plays over his feet, and he'll bend a little bit. It seems like there is two things happening, Voch, and you can speak on this: growth and consistency. And I think that's what we should really be looking for from him and be proud of, if there is growth and consistency. And you just hope that carries over in the season.
Oh yeah, 100%. And now this is where film study comes into play, because he has these tools, but you'll still see some of his habits pop up if he's unsure. Tyler Guyton's not undefeated out there. Let me just be clear. He's taken his losses, but he's won a lot more than he's lost. But let me explain what I mean by like this, where film study comes in, because he's going to deal with different types of guys, and he's going to understand that some of these new movements that he's learning are going to work with a certain type of guys. So him striking individually, that's going to help more with the Donovan Ezeraku types. Him firing and getting a little tactical lean in, that's going to help more with these physical rushers. If you look on my Twitter, or just anybody's Twitter, right? Anytime Donovan Ezeraku has beat Tyler Guyton, it's because Guyton was kind of lunging a little bit, right? I think that's Guyton figuring out how to navigate blocking different rushers, because if you're going against Marshawn Nealon or Peyton Turner, you do want to fire into them a little bit more because they're a little more powerful. You don't want to fire into Ezeraku because Ezeraku's quick and he'll just bend and flip and get around you. But Tyler Guyton got the tools to just kick and get to a landmark and deal with Ezeraku, right?
Yeah.
So now what Guyton has to understand is, on the fly, and he's learning this, and we got time to fix it on the fly. Oh, I got Ezeraku. Cool. I can use my quickness and my feet to match him. I don't have to lean at him. Oh, that's Peyton Turner. He's not going to beat me with speed. So maybe I can just set a half a set, redirect, use hands, and sit down on him. Oh, that's Marshawn Nealon. He's coming right for my chest. Maybe I can counter and club down on that hand that I know he's going to try to get on me. And then I can Oh, that's Sam Williams. Sam like to fly to my outside, not into me, but to my outside a little bit. Maybe I can hit that Tyron Smith slap up field, then recover and bring my hands. Like when Tyler Booker says you're doing algebra in a fist fight, that's an old offensive line term. He didn't invent that. Like we've been saying that for years, but that's real. And a lot of it is diagnosing who I'm going against on the fly. So when I'm saying film study, Tyler Guyton's going to go out there versus the Eagles. Okay, Nolan Smith, I've seen his film. This how I got to handle him. Okay, I don't know who the fuck they got pass rush now. Will Sills, everybody gone. Whoever, right? They're going to have some physical rushers. They're going to have some bendy rushers. They're going to have some guys in the middle. Tyler Guyton's job now, because I know he could do it because he's doing it with pads on, Will Steele, is he's going to have to differentiate when to use what tools versus what type of rusher. And that's what he's doing right now. But he's doing a damn good job at it, Will Steele.
Man, listen, bro. I don't think
Chill,
people
man.
the nuance that when you describe trench work, man, it get me fired up. I told you before, it is what inspired me to. My favorite thing to watch is the trenches. Like when it comes to film and things like that, all 22 college pros, doesn't matter, is the trenches, man. Phenomenal breakdown.
Once you learn it, ain't nothing like it.
It's addicting, man. It's addicting because you said something a long time ago that stuck with me, and it's so true. There's something every play. If you watch receiver, you watch safety, you watch there's plays where this play doesn't matter. Every play matters for the offensive lineman. Before I let you go real quick, though, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about the interior defensive line, because with the pads on, one of the things I was looking for was, Mozzie Smith, Jay To'e, the Solomon Thomases of the world. And somebody we've been going back and forth about interesting character, man, Perion Winfrey. We know he had the talent at Oklahoma, got in a lot of trouble, but this kid seems to fit the mold from the length that Flus likes. And his defensive tackle, 6'4", he seems pretty big. Undersized from a weight department, but the length is there. This interior defensive line rotation, what's it looking like with 3 Tech Mozzie now? Solomon Thomas and Perion Winfrey.
I watched Solomon Thomas make a play versus the run the other day, and he had to use his keys. He had to use his eyes. He had to identify, and he eventually won with quickness to make the play versus the run. And I talked to Brian Bros about it. I said, Brian, I wonder if that's how we're trying to win in A gap. From just from A gap, are we trying to win with quickness? Because we're not trying to take on blocks and let linebackers run free. If anything, your linebackers are going to have to be a little more aggressive, because if you're asking 310-pound, 305-pound defensive linemen to take on double teams, they're going to get moved.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So watching Solomon go out there and make plays, burst to your field, okay, I get it. Watching Perrion Winfrey, who got a great first step, great long arms, great shock of the hands. I think he's gonna make the team, by the way. I don't think Perrion going nowhere. I see how Perrion wins in the run game. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they're gonna be so reliant on the on one takes getting double team, because linebackers shooting gaps, like linebackers stepping up, linebackers getting up in there. You can't really, you can keep double teaming a one tech if a linebacker's in the gap with you, but the linebacker just gonna run free, whatever. Cool. If you let the linebacker run free, we'll just make the play. But the linebackers are shooting those gaps, and and it makes a little sense. Kenneth Murray got enough size to get down and whoop a little ass, so I get it. But I'm getting some louder camps from Perrion Winfrey. I'm getting some louder camps from Solomon Thomas. And how that works is they just line up at tackle. I think they shade based on what the offense is doing. So if the offense is strong to their right, then Solomon will just move to the three tech on that side. If they're strong to the offense's left, then Solomon Thomas will just be the A gap guy.
Resetting too.
You can see him moving. They're basically moving based on the offense and how they move. So I've been at least seeing Solomon make noise from A and B gap. I've seen Perrion make noise from A and B gap. Jay Towe is 340 pounds, but he's a rookie. We'll see.
Yeah.
I haven't seen much positive from Mozzie. Not to say that Mozzie's been terrible. I just haven't seen Mozzie make the plays. You know what I'm saying? There's a very humorous video of Tyler Smith throwing Mozzie out the club. As an offensive line guy, I take that as a point for us. But you don't mind seeing Tyler Smith beat Mozzie. You don't want to see Tyler Smith throwing Mozzie all the way out the club.
Yeah.
You don't want to see that. You want to see Mozzie fight a little bit. Tyler Booker and Oso Digizua are having fights. Osa may win some, Book may win some, but at least they having fights. Nobody's getting thrown out the club. I've seen Mozzie get thrown out the club a few times, so I'm not going to be the guy that rains on parades and poo-poos on Mozzie, but I'm just going to simply just say I haven't seen that much from him. We'll have to wait till the preseason games, but I have definitely seen Perrion, and I've seen Solomon Thomas definitely splash out there for sure.
Two things, man. You said something on Twitter that it made me chuckle, because he does seem to move around like this. His demeanor. You said when Mozzie's lined up against, I think it was Tyler Smith, he looked like he got attitude.
Yeah.
He looked
Mozzie take a deep ass breath before you go on that ride, boy.
Look, oh my God, bro! Is this what he say right here? Was it?
Oh hell, Look, Mozzie already got that little head to the side look, but
right,
Mozzie,
that's what I'm saying. He already got that. I don't even, man. Is practice over yet, bro?
He take a deep ass breath before he got to deal with Big Tyler, and as he should, because he go for a ride, but. Booker moving him around too, Will, still, you know what I'm saying? I want Mozzie to compete like the rest of these guys, Perrion Winfrey. And look, to be fair, he should be enthusiastic because he's coming from the USFL, and so he's he's excited to be,
the who?
The USFL, you know what I'm saying? The USFL, Wembanyama. Perrion got a great attitude for this thing, mind you. Man, Will, still, you remember Justin Rogers got cut quick, a couple months ago?
If you could see how the sun just did you with the silhouette right now, it's kind of hard. I ain't gonna hold you. You kind of faded back into a silhouette, bro, like the Tom Landry. Kind of crazy what just happened with the camera, by the way. But continue.
I think attitude matters here. I think mindset matters here. I think temperament and buying in matters a bunch in this Schottenheimer administration. I can only see so much pouting from Mozzie. I don't even want to call it pouting, but just lack of enthusiasm. When I see Perrion Winfrey, even when and he's the guy that's climbed from the third team to the second team, by the way. I think he's going to be rotating in the first team soon. Solomon going to get first, of course, but Perrion looked like he ready to go out there and fight because he has an opportunity to be great. He has an opportunity to change his life. So of course he's got a great attitude about it. He out there talking shit, Will still, you know what I'm saying? And he has a high motor. Perrion is flying all over the field.
I can't help
Mozzie
but
got his head to the side and taking deep breaths before he run to Big Tyler. Go ahead.
I can't. And listen, y'all. This is now I'm putting on the optimistic, hopeful hat here with Perrion Winfrey, and I don't think it's far-fetched because they're very similar guys. Troubled characters. I believe both went. I don't actually remember where Perrion went draft-wise, but they both were guys removed from their teams or had issues post college or in college.
Yeah, day two somewhere.
If he could be David Irving, right? Remember what happened with David Irving? Cowboys got David Irving off of a practice squad, a troubled player, but a talented player that had length, that had hunger. He just didn't have the discipline to stay. They're comparable in the sense of talented guys, troubled guys. But you mentioned Perrion Winfrey is a dude who's not just happy to be here. He was in the USF of L, and he knows, hey, man, this could be my last stop. So if he can be David Irving-ish, am I going to go as far as David Irving? Because, man, you could argue he was one of the most talented defensive linemen on the team when he was here. But if you can get that type of production from him in spurts, man, that'll be huge for this defensive line, bro.
Can I give you one more point that made me really like something that Shotty said?
Please.
Shotty said at the press conference yesterday, it was interesting he said this because he wants to be this running team. Shotty wants to be this team that runs the football. He said yesterday, you know what I don't like? I don't like 9-on-7. I don't like 7-on-7 periods. You know what I mean? And normally in the league, like, you know, you're either running some run hull or you run a 9-on-7 to try to fix your run offense. That's what you do. And a couple of media cats, after he broke the press conference, you know, we were asking, hey man, how you gonna be I was just listening. How you gonna be like a run team or a team that wants to run the football, but you don't run the run drills, you don't run the 9-on-7s, you don't blah, blah, blah. We haven't been running a whole bunch of 1-on-1s neither, Will still. You notice that. We're not running a bunch of broken up stuff. We're running all 11-on-11s. The entire practice, 11-on-11. Team, 11-on-11, 11-on-11, 11-on-11. Shotty opened up yesterday's practice with a run period, but it's 11-on-11 run period. And it brings me back to something that he said in the press conference. He said, hey man, why would we take the wide receivers out of the run drill? We need them blocking too. So when we're going to run our run drills, we're going to run our run plays. I want CD in there. I want GP in there because they got to, in a real game, they got to block.
Exactly.
I say, mother, boy, I say, boy, what you say? I said, what you say, not? I said, what you say? What you said? Because Scott, it makes sense. I played football. We had this thing called run hull. It was the 5 offensive linemen versus the D line and linebackers. Sometimes they'll put tight ends up there, but the wide receivers will be over there catching. And you wonder why wide receivers don't take run blocking seriously. You know what I'm saying? Or if they do have their wide receiver run blocking drills, it's some little nonsense they do in open space. But there's a certain thing about, hey, we're running this certain play. Condensed splits, by the way, you have to learn how to block this amount of space from the tight end
at this angle,
or this amount of space. So why are we practicing shit that we're not going to do in the game? I haven't considered it, but he's a coach that's been wanting to be a head coach for 30 years, and he's got ideas, but he's had to shut the hell up because he's not the head coach. It makes perfect sense. We should practice any play 11-on-11 in a team setting in the context of what a certain play would be. Why are we running miscellaneous plays that we probably wouldn't even be running?
Or miscellaneous drills that doesn't really help. You're right, bro. I remember seeing
y'all want to see
drills.
Look, y'all want to see O-line 1-on-1? Watch Tyler and Donovan Ezaraku in this team period where we throwing the football. That's your fucking 1-on-1.
Yes, because I was just about to say, I remember years ago, maybe even just last year, but we used to see a whole lot of the drill where you have the trainer, whomever it is in the backfield, they say hike, and it's the defensive lineman going up against one offensive lineman, no other offensive lineman around, all this space, and you'll get a clip where it looks like the defender won, but it's because it's after 3-4 seconds and there's nobody else around. Like, oh, he beat the hell out of XYZ. Not really, because this drill is not really helping anybody because there's no other lineman around. What is the context of the play, et cetera, et cetera. I haven't seen a single video of that, by the way. Not a single video. Like you said, everything has been. If it's individual drills, it's completely different. It's kind of like the video you drop where it's like, hey, we're working on this duo and getting to the second level, right? We're working on this pull. We're working on XYZ, or it's 11 on 11.
Yep.
A great observation.
I like that a bunch. And that ain't something that I've seen before. Like it's always some 9-on-7, always some run hull, some O-line versus D-line, some one-on-one type shit. I haven't seen that at all, whether outside of pads and yesterday's first padded practice, it's been 11 on 11 the whole way.
Hey, man, this was a hell of a detailed breakdown of the first padded practice. Cowboys are suiting up again today. Y'all need to be tapped into Voch while he's out there. I believe this will be your last day out there. So make sure y'all are tapped in on YouTube. Y'all are tapped in on Twitter. Shouts out to Crown Global Media. I see my guy Brian Broadus over there doing his thing, propping up the camera. What's up, guys? And us, okay, Brian, trying to get the YouTube popping. I see you, big dog.
He a YouTuber now, which is hilarious. He's trying to get that plaque, here.
Yeah, God love B, man. But hey, look, I don't gotta say too much. You know how it is in real life with me and you. But really appreciate you coming through, dropping these gems, man. And continue to keep killing it. Phenomenal work you're doing with .com individually with Crown Global. But the coverage in camp has been so great and so unique. And I love that you focus on a specific area, but you also know how to watch the rest. It's been a breath of fresh air.
Appreciate you, bro. Thanks for having me on. Love you to pieces. You already know. Y'all may see me on these different platforms, .com. You may see me on some other little national broadcasts. It's all good. But at the end of the day, YouTube is the crib and I ain't leaving. Love y'all. Salute.